quick warning, this week we're discussing a sensitive and potentially triggering topic about child abuse. Children are suffering from a hidden epidemic of child abuse and neglect. According to the National Children's Alliance, nearly 700,000 children are abused in the U.S. each year, and a report of child abuse is made every 10 seconds. Thanks for joining us for this week's Health News You Can Use. I'm Lindsay Stish. April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and today we're discussing child abuse and neglect, what parents and loved ones can do to prevent child abuse, and how Crittenton Children's Center foster care program helps families heal. With me today is Tanisha Leal, the foster care manager at St. Luke's Crittenton Children's Center. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me to discuss this very important topic in our community.
Well, Tanisha, first of all, what is child abuse and neglect, and what are the different types?
Sure. So when we think of child abuse, I think of it kind of as a two-part definition. So first of all, it's a recent act or failure to act on the behalf of a parent or caretaker, which can cause serious harm to the child, whether that be physical or emotional abuse or sexual abuse, or it is kind of imminent risk to the child. So it hasn't happened yet, but we feel like the child could be at risk of something happened to them if someone didn't intervene. And so, as I stated before, the different types of child abuse that we at Crittenton work with include neglect, physical abuse, and sexual abuse are kind of the main types of abuse that we tend to see.
Okay, so what's the impact of child abuse and neglect on our youth?
Yeah, so impact can be immediate and long-term. So damaging effects can impact the child's ability to kind of trust those who are supposed to keep them safe. Research also indicates that early on abuse can have very important implications on their brain development, their cognitive development, social development, and things like that.
And how prominent is it?
So child abuse is actually more prominent than you may think of. So here in the Jackson County area alone, there are about 1,500 children who are working with the family court due to allegations of abuse and neglect. And if we look statewide, that number rises to about 13,000.
Wow. So what are some signs to look for as a signal that a child might be being abused?
Sure. So I always say kind of remember to trust your gut instinct. If you feel like something seems off, talk to someone about it, talk to the child. But when looking at children, some of the more obvious signs might be noticing any kind of change from the norm. Are they having more aggressive behaviors? Are they displaying regressive behaviors? Do they have unexplained bruises or injuries? And if you ask them about those bruises or injuries, do their stories keep shifting? And then if you look at older children, they can have all of those same signs, but some other common signs for older children would be self-harming behaviors. We often see them eloping, school issues, or expressing fear to return home.
Now, where can child abuse take place and by whom?
Child abuse can actually take place anywhere, and most often is perpetrated by someone that the child trusts, a parent or a caretaker. Child abuse can also occur between children, but most often it's by someone, an adult that the child has a very close relationship with.
Now, what's important to remember about helping prevent child abuse?
So first of all, I would say is to trust your own gut instinct. If you feel like something is off with a child, or they're displaying kind of abnormal behaviors for themselves, talk to that child yourself, or talk to another trusted adult that may have a connection with that child, a teacher, a counselor, someone like that.
Okay. How does Crittenton's foster care help families?
Sure. So our role at this time is that we work with families in which there has been child abuse or neglect, and we are working to kind of restore the family unit, heal the trauma, and then provide interventions and education to hopefully prevent abuse in the future. So we kind of work on an individual basis with that family to kind of help restore them.
Okay. Now, if someone's wanting to report child abuse or neglect, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, so the state of Missouri has two different ways that you can report child abuse. One, you can call the hotline number, or you can actually go online and make a report online.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us to discuss this important topic.
Thank you so much for having me.
To learn more about Crittenton's Children's Center foster care program, visit stlukeskc.org/fostercare. You can also stay up to date with all the latest developments on the COVID pandemic and other health news from St. Luke's at stlukeskc.org/news. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time on Health News You Can Use.